Larry Groce, mountainstage.org is where you get the show if it's not on your radio station. And we are excited because our guests today are the Weepies. Here's their latest record, Be My Thrill. It's their third on Network Records and your fourth CD and all. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And they are here with us, Steve Tannen and Deb Talan. And I read, first of all, you guys got together, 10 years ago when you were both singer-songwriters?
Yeah, we were both kind of doing the same thing, but in different cities. Steve was in New York and I was in Boston.
I was a big fan of Deb Talan's, and she'd just come out with her first solo record that I listened to obsessively. And I drove up to Boston for a show, and Deb Talan came to the show.
No joke.
And that's
so you did the show, and she came to see you?
Yeah.
Well, what a nice surprise.
Well, it was. I don't remember the rest of the show at all. My mind went totally blank, and all I can remember is, don't mess up. This is Deb Talan down there. I'm telling you what.
How did you hear her music? Did you see her?
A friend had given me her CD and said, you have to check this out. And I just loved it. I heard a kindred spirit.
I heard his music too.
And I wanted to harmonize with it. I harmonized with it in my car all the time.
Rain turns the sand into mud. Wind turns the trees into bone. Stars turning high up above. You turn me into somebody loved.
Once you met her, how long was it before you started performing or got romantically involved? Quickly?
Well, it was music first.
Music first, yeah. We started playing songs. We started doing kind of a mini version of what we do now. I mean, in terms of sharing songs and sort of getting each other's feedback and then starting to work together almost right away. Like the first night that we really sort of hung out together, we played songs for each other. First, we started with the ones we were most confident about, kind of like, hey, and then we moved into ones that weren't quite finished or we weren't quite solid on, and just very naturally
as the wine
started.
ran out, the inhibitions left.
Yeah.
I remember Deb was playing half songs and sort of, I don't know where to go from there, and it was excellent.
It was very natural to sort of step in, and I think because there was already that deep sort of mutual respect and kind of admiration for each other and what the other did, it was very natural to give feedback and take it and not have that sort of like the hackles go up that, it can be pretty, can kind of get in the way.
I woke up, wish that I was dead, with an aching in my head, I lay motionless in bed. The night is here, and the day is gone, and the world spins madly on.
Even with the two of us, two of the harshest writer critics around, I would say, we wrote about 75 tunes for this 14-song record, and most of them nobody heard. You know what I mean? They made it past me and then past Deb, and finally to the band, you know what I mean, and then out into the world.
I was going to ask you that. I read that, and I was going to ask you about how did you filter out that many? Who was the final arbiter of deciding from 75 to 14? I mean, obviously you guys have the last word, but how did you whittle it down?
It was pretty natural process. I mean, in the beginning we sort of went through and we're like, kind of checked off the ones we were like excited to go at production-wise, and then once we had that sort of group, we just started laying down tracks and recording, and it was pretty obvious in the beginning anyway when things were sort of catching right or not.
It's the positive side of survival of the fittest.
Yeah.
Because some just seem to work.
Yeah.
And you sing them and we can hear a harmony and there's an interesting, and what about, Frank Lenz, the drummer, he really could dig in on this one. And so you only have so much time. And so you end up with 23 or 24 that these are great, these are working. And then eventually, as the process keeps going, ones just fall away.
I went to the market, though it was threatening rain. I was late to the station, so I missed that train. And the streets filled with umbrellas, and we all look the same. But I'm the one who's waiting till the sun comes out again. I say I was made for sunny days. I may do it great, but I didn't say
piece of fortune that happened, they just all add up. Being able to play Mountain Stage is one, and I you know, this tour is another, and getting having the creator of Dirty Sexy Money call us and say, would you play on our TV show, was another. And there's literally like hundreds that just, so it's each
Very
little
incremental.
tiny thing. You know, Justin Bieber is a different animal. You know what I mean? Like his really happened in 2 months.
Yeah.
And ours felt like a real progression in which we got to work the whole way.
You know there will be days when you're so tired you can't take another step. The night will have no stars and you'll think you've gone as far as you'll ever get. But you and me walk on, walk on, walk on, 'cause you can't go back now.
In order for a song to survive long enough to be recorded on a record of ours, it has to, as Steve was discussing, like go through, you know, each of our own sort of filters and survive the production process, and then, but from the, you know, from its inception, like a song has to keep our emotional attention, and I think, you know, these little bursts of songs that's about as long as we feel like, yeah, that's a long time to kind of live in that intensity of emotion, and then we're just sort of ready to go on to the next thing. I think that's kind of how both of us work as writers.
Lovers walk 2 by 2, doing things lovers do. They're in love. Where am I? I see them on my way home. How I hate to be alone. They're in love. Where am I?
We have a child. We need to be here and take care of the child, and that was it. And everything else that happened was just natural. You know, since we were home, we got to write more, so we made a record more quickly.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And we had time at home to talk to a lot of newspapers and music supervisors and things like that, which we might not have had on the road. Having been on the road now for 6 weeks or however long, you don't have a lot of time to write or do anything.
No.
And so, yeah, I feel like it wasn't that much of a choice. It was pretty easy.
Don't hold back all your love for someday,
For someday I would say that I'm sorry if it would do any good.
but to never regret means you have to forget, and I don't think that I could. Don't say words that you don't mean.
It's great to have you guys. There it is again. Be My Thrill on the Mountain Stage. First time, and it's our great pleasure. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much. We're big fans of the show, and we're really so thrilled to get the invitation. Thank you.
My kissing good.